Shalom, 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 family, shalom. Right, brother Nazi tapping in through the spirit, right? Waiting on the brother Sham to tap in with us, right? But shalom, shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises and glory, right, to the Most High God, right, Yahweh. We do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, the righteous, who the world calls Christ, ignorantly, right? We the saints of the commandments. And we back at it, man, with another Monday night class. And you see the topic, beware of wolves in sheep clothing. If you're new to the channel, right, like, share, and subscribe when you come in the building, right? Make sure you hit the bell, or throw some shallow in the chat as well. Let us know if y'all in the building, if y'all can hear us okay, right? You got anything, Ak?
You know, as always, I'll praise you. How about Shem? Malaki How Shai? Right. Double honors to the elders of the house of David. Mighty Shalom to all the Kadashim scattered abroad. We got a lesson today. Going into beware of wolves in sheep's clothing. Right. It should be a mighty lesson. We pray that it's edifying. We pray that you brought the spirit, your 1611 King James. If you just have a King James version, your apocrypha, lighters, pens, you know that you have an attentive heart, an attentive ear, and an open heart, man. That this may be brought out and be edifying to you, right? That's all I got, man. This is gonna be a I ain't gonna say it's gonna be a quick lesson, but it should be edifying nonetheless, right? You know, again, mighty shalom to all the saints throughout the four corners. You know, we are the saints up on the commander, my brother Shemariah.
Come, brother Nasi.
Thing, right? And we're gonna get right into it, man. So again, like, share, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe.
Right. In these last days, man, we gotta have eyes to see, man. We're gonna get into this thing, how it can be if you don't have a spiritual discernment, right, on different type of matters or situations, that you can find yourself behind enemies' lines. You can find yourself amongst your enemies. You know, when you think you're amongst friends, right? They can also be your foes. So we understand that us being our brother's keeper, we want to make sure that our brothers and sisters are have the eyes to see, man, in these last days, so that, you know, that's that GPS on a spiritual level. It lets you know when you've made a wrong turn, right? It lets you know when you your ETA, your destination, things of that, and it lets you know your location. Like, hey, you done took a wrong turn somewhere. So that's what this whole breakdown is about, through the Spirit, Lord willing, to be edifying to the Akim, to the Kodashim scattered abroad, right? So
again, if you in the chat or you're watching, you know, drop some sevens, drop a shalom, let us know that you're here, right? And we was really want to dive right into it. We don't want to waste time. We want to make haste, you know. So if you got nothing else, King, we can bring out the first precept. Right, we're gonna open up in Matthew chapter 7, starting at verse 14. Matthew 7 and 14.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 7. I'm gonna start at 13 now. Salaki. Enter ye into the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth into destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that findeth it. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing.
In what?
Sheep's clothing. But inwardly they are ravening wolves.
So Yahweh Shai said we have to beware of teachers, prophets, prophetess, sisters, brothers, loved ones that approach you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Right. So they have a very, very ulterior motive and a wicked side that they are trying to cover with the sheep's clothing, right? But ultimately, they have a hunger to prey on the meek, right? Go ahead.
Right, verse 16. Ye shall know them by their fruits.
You shall know them by their fruits. You have to really pay attention to the fruits, the spiritual fruits that they are
Bearing.
bringing forward or bearing through their work, through their righteous works. That's how you're going to know them, by their spiritual um, um, light or lack thereof. Right? Go ahead.
Know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Verse 17. Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit.
Right. Every good tree is going to bring forth good fruit. Right. You know what I'm saying? When you're doing good according to the law, we know that the law is good. Right. When you're doing good and keeping the laws to the best of your ability, you're going to bring forth righteous fruits. Right. Go ahead.
Bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit.
Right. But a corrupt tree is going to bring forth madness, is going to bring forth, like corruption, wickedness, strife, contention, backbiting, lying, double tongued, confusion. All these things are going to come from a tree that's bearing evil fruit. Right. You got some?
Those fruits, man, and how you know those good fruit, man, it's going to taste good.
Con.
Right? When you bite into it, and that's the thing. It's like you can really never when you're dealing with fruit. The topic's about wolves and sheep clothing, but we're going into fruit. You're gonna know it's tree, right? It's a lot of different ways you can test fruit, right? I grew up in Big Mama and Granny and them. They sometimes you spin the fruit, to see if it's right. Sometimes you kind of knock on it, you kind of shake it, right? You really still can't tell the contents of what's inside that fruit until you cut it open, man.
That's right.
So you gotta dissect that thing and see what's the contents thereof. And so this is talking.
I've seen certain fruits, look to be ripe on the outside, fresh, and then you open it and it's decaying,
Right.
old, it's brown, it's rotten, right? You know what I'm saying? But Salaki, just let me back up on your point. Go ahead. All right.
So that's what the point of this breakdown is going into, is that you really have to get to know this type of tree to see what type of fruits that it brings forth, and if it's constant, right? Is this going to constantly in season and out of season be instant, right? Bringing forth the same fruits. If not, then that's kind of a sometimey type of tree. It's not. I want a tree that's going to bring forth the same fruits every time, right? And that's talking about the spirit. But we're going to keep it rolling.
Verse 19.
Verse 19. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down.
Is what?
Hewn down.
And
cast into the fire.
So if you're not bearing good fruits according to the spirit of Hamashiach, fruits of the spirit, if you will, then you are eventually going to get hewn down and cast into the fire, right? You know what I'm saying? We've noticed, or you can see throughout people's works, if their tree is going to be bringing forth fruits or tied to the tree of life, or if they're going to wither away, right? You know what I'm saying? So, these things are mindful by the actions that people show, by the consistency of their walk, by the strength of their faith, right? You know what I'm saying? By their rehearsing of the righteous acts, right? If you see these things consistent with them and they're constantly in the spirit and enduring, then more than likely they're going to bear righteous fruits. But if you see a sluggard spirit, a backbiting spirit, a double tongue, an evil eye, more than likely that tree is going to be hewn down and cast into the fire, right? Go ahead.
Con. And so like I dropped it. That was Matthew 7. You can bring that last verse out. I got the next one.
Con, this is Matthew chapter 7 and verse 20. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them.
Right. And just like on the visual, like you go into the grocery store and you can kind of see where the fruit is, where you're trying to go and what you're trying to get, what you're there to get. Right. You're going to know that this came from an apple tree. This came from a mango tree, so on and so on, etc. Right. Next precept through the Spirit is going to be Jude 1 and 4. The book of Jude, chapter 1 and verse 4. I'll bring it up. It says, "For there are certain men crept in unawares, who were before of old ordained to this condemnation, ungodly men, turning the grace."
What are they?
Ungodly men.
So ungodly men can creep in unawares. Why? Because they have the righteous, a righteous cloak on, if you will. They have that sheep clothing, and they blending in with the sheep, right? You know what I'm saying? They blending in with the rest of the flock. But ultimately, right? Ultimately, they're full of wickedness, right? And ungodly acts and actions, right? Go ahead, King.
It says, but as you, if you can read, if you can get this, it says, "For there were certain men crept in unawares,
right,
who were before of old ordained to this condemnation." They had already, the Most High created them in the womb to be already, to have this type of spirit on them.
Right.
Right. It says he ordained them before in the days of old. Right. Reading on, "Ungodly men, turning the grace of our God into lasciviousness, and denying the only Lord God and our power, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach."
Now, how do you do that? Now, how do you do that? Because the scripture says, we know that we have
pass from death to life when we love the brothers.
You see that, right? You know what I'm saying? It says in what is it, classic? It says right here, it says, "By this we know," 1 John 5 and 3, it says 5 and 2, it says, "By this we know that we love the children of the Most High, when we love the Most High and keep his commandments." Right? So that's how you're gonna know the what spirit the person is in, if they're loving the brethren, right? You know what I'm saying? If they're being gracious, merciful, long suffering, understanding, or they're willing to bear your burdens with you, right? You know what I'm saying? That's how you're gonna know if they truly love the Father, because we know the first two commandments, right, covers the rest, right? Love the Father above no other power, and love your brother as you would love yourself, right? You don't want to give out any ill will, or any false energy, or anything you wouldn't want to receive, right? You know what I'm saying? If it's anything that you would feel offended by, if someone said it to you, you wouldn't want to say it to your brother. Now, you want to rebuke them in meekness and correct them, right? But at the same time, you have to be mindful of your brother and your sister, right? You got some?
No, it's a lot of old. I like to, meet Jake where they at, man, when we do these breakdowns. And it's so many worldly sayings, worldly parables that line up with the scriptures. But man kind of just take them and run off with them, and they don't really know like the authenticity of the scripture, of the saying that they're saying comes from the scriptures.
Right.
If you don't got nothing good to say, right, don't say it at all, right? Hey, treat others how you want to be treated. These are scriptures, man. Right? We're gonna go to 1 John 4 and verse 1. Book of 1 John chapter 4 and verse 1. Shout out brother Judah.
I got you. Shalom to the Aqua, right? This is 1 John chapter 4 and verse 1. Brother Nakata scribe on the scene, right? It says, "Beloved, believe not every spirit."
You see that? You cannot believe every spirit. We say that all the time, man. All skin folk ain't what?
Kinfolk.
Right? You can't just believe every spirit, because they just, and this is kind of going back to like, even like what it can go from from childhood to your adolescence. Just because you have come up with someone in the world, but now you in this truth, and y'all don't have the same spirit anymore, man. You under the spirit of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, right?
Our fringe folk ain't kinfolk.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? Just because a person say they in his truth, you still have to try the spirit. You still have to be able to see what spirit are they coming in, right? Because there was a lot of people that say they in the spirit of Christ, right? But you have to try them and make sure it's the same Christ that the scriptures referencing. In a different spirit, they not of that body.
Right. The Most High even said that, via Yahweh Shai. It says, "Many shall say, Lord, Lord, call on me, saying, Lord, Lord, and cast out devils, but I refuse you." Right.
That's right.
Right. Let's keep going on that 1 John.
1 John 4 and 1. "Beloved, Believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of the Most High.
Right. This is, and that's Sirach 6 and 7. Right. Prove a friend. Right. And this is what this is going into. Right. You got to really see how what type of spirit this person is coming in. If this is they putting on an act, right? If it's putting on a show, right? Or they putting on, like the brother said, a cloak, man. It just kind of fit in. Right. You got to test these things out. Let's keep rolling. All right.
It says, because many false prophets are gone out into the world.
And everybody who opened up the scriptures, man, they don't just because you can open up this book don't mean you can break it down. Right.
Just because you know you're an Israelite don't mean you walking as one. Right. Just because you seem to have good intentions don't mean they have your best interest at heart.
It's all about it's all about application of this thing, man. That's how you know if they taking the seeds and consuming them things, man.
Right.
Right. That's go ahead, Alex.
This is 1 John chapter 4, verse 18. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear, because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love. We love him because he first loved us. If a man say, I love the Most High, and hateth his brother, he is a liar.
He is a what?
He is a liar.
Right. And there's many kind of forms of Yahushua kind of goes into that. Right. He said, when it goes into the commandments about killing, he says, if you even hate your brother, man, you might as well have killed him.
That's right.
Right. So you gotta, even when you have malice and ill will towards a brother or a sister, right, you might as well have slain them, man. And the Most High is telling you, hey, how can you love the Most High and hated his brother? He is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, how can he love whom? Salakia. For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen.
Right. That goes back to the divine order, the 1 Corinthians 11 and 3 on down. Right. Our brethren, an Israelite man, especially more so one of the faith, the man of the Lord, this is the image of Christ, the body of Christ, if you will, right? So you supposed to be seeing Christ every time you look at your brethren, every time you look at a righteous sister. You seeing the bride, right? You know what I'm saying? Or the spirit that we're supposed to be moving in, right? So if you can't love them, how can you say you love the Most High? How can you say you love Christ? Right? Go ahead, King.
In closing, whom he had seen, how can he love the Most High whom he had not seen? And this commandment have we from him, that he who loveth the Most High loveth his brother also.
So if you love the Most High, right? If you love Yahushua, you have to love your people. You have to love your brothers. You have to love your sisters. You have to treat them as you would want to be treated. You have to be mindful, right, of their walk and their understanding, right, and not offend the little ones, right? You have to be understanding. You have to play a position that has been ordained for you from the time of old, right?
Come. Next precept, we're going to keep it rolling through the spirit. We got Philippians chapter 3 and verse 2, right? Philippians 3 and 2. Philippians chapter 3 and verse 2. It says, go ahead.
It's book of Philippians chapter 3 and verse 2. It says, beware of dogs.
Of who?
Beware of dogs.
So we all know that a wolf is of the canine family, right? Beware of dogs. Read on.
Beware of evil workers. Beware of the conscience.
Right. So we got to understand that you got to go with your first mind sometime, man. It's a worldly saying, man. If somebody show you who they are, man, you better believe them, man. That's who they are. The scriptures also tell you, man, out of the mouth, the heart speaks.
That's right.
Right. If you sit down and you listen long enough, they're gonna show you and tell you who they are, man, and what their intent is, according to them dwelling or kind of just hanging out with you, right, through the spirit. So you got to beware of dogs. right? Don't the world say it's a dog eat dog world, right? We dealing with sheep. We the sheep, man. According to Matthew 15 and 24, Matthew 10 and 6. Right? We the sheep. We don't have no business dealing with no dogs, man.
That's right.
We're gonna keep it rolling.
Next precept is gonna be back in 1 John chapter 2, I believe verse 19. 1 John chapter 2 and verse 19.
It's the book of 1 John chapter 2 and verse 19. I'm gonna start at 18. 1 John 2 and verse 18. Little children, it is the last time, and as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now are there many Antichrists.
You see that? And an Antichrist is anything that's opposite of the spirit of Hamashiach. You don't have to be you don't have to be the Antichrist to be a Antichrist, right? If you are contrary to the spirit of Hamashiach, loving your brother in spirit and in truth, right? Obtaining and keeping, displaying and teaching the fruits of the spirit, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. If you're not moving in this spirit, you are an Antichrist, right? Go ahead,
that Antichrist shall come. Even now are there many Antichrists, whereby
now are there many Antichrists in the world. He said they were back then. How much more so now? Right? Go ahead.
Whereby we know that it is the last time. They went out from us.
They did what?
They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would have no doubt have continued with us. But they went out that they went out that they might be made manifest that they were not all of us. Right? Some like it was just bringing out just early in Jude 1 and 4. Some of them have been ordained from old to have that contentious spirit, man.
That's right.
Some of them have already been sought out and have a spirit of division, right? And the scriptures tell you plainly in Romans 16 and 17, you got to mark them.
Bro. That's where I was going. That's where I'm going.
You got to mark them type of brothers, man, and sisters. You really got it. You gonna pull it for me out?
I got you.
Count the water.
This is Romans 16 and 17. It says, "Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses."
Right, because if they really a sheep, man, we're gonna mingle. We're gonna kind of be herd around each other. We're gonna eat the same grass. Right, when master come, we're gonna kind of gravitate to them together. But the one sheep, man, it's gonna be causing division, man. We ain't supposed to be dealing with them sheep, man.
That's right.
That's the black sheep, man. Go ahead.
Mark them which cause divisions and offenses, contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned.
Because in this truth, there is no room for division. The Most High has commanded us to gather ourselves together. Right? That's clear. He's told us to gather ourselves together. So we can no longer associate or cleave to people who are about division. We don't have no room for that in this truth, man.
It says, and avoid them.
And what?
And avoid them. Right? So those same people that you see causing that breaking up of the families, the separations of the brethren, the sisterin, that's causing contention and strife among the congregation, you got to mark them, right, and avoid them.
Why would you mark them? So unless you forget, man,
you know who you're dealing with.
You really got to. Hey, don't like when you get a wound, a spider bite, right? And it's an old little tail that they'll get a Sharpie and they'll circle it around the bite, right? And then they'll check it, and to see if it'll grow, right? You got a marker to see, like, okay, yeah, that's trouble. If that thing continue to grow, man, yeah, you in trouble,
right? And you better do something with it. You know what I'm saying? If it grow outside of where you've marked it, if you've set boundaries for it, and it has become cancerous and seeped outside of those boundaries, you better find some type of remedy. Otherwise, it'll plague the whole body.
So Laki, they also did that in the law. You'll see that in the book of Leviticus when they was dealing with men who were leprous, things of that nature. They would put them away for 7 days, kind of mark them to see if they grew, if the illness grew or if it spread it, and if so, that they would keep them outside the gates. Right. Well, we're gonna keep it rolling through the spirit. Next precept.
It's 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 33.
Right. Are you sitting amongst wolves? Right. You got to ask yourself these questions. Right. Or you sitting amongst sheep? Right. Go ahead, Oxalaki.
1 Corinthians 15 and 33. Be not deceived.
Be what?
Be not deceived.
Because it's easy, man. He's telling you this because it has happened before. Read on.
Evil communication corrupt good manners.
What does that mean? And that means that, hey, this thing, our spirits are like sponges, man. Right? If you surround yourself around something filthy, eventually you're gonna absorb it and you're gonna become it. Right? So that's what it's telling you, that you gotta beware of these wolves, because you can end up being a wolf, or you can be a damn sheep. And you know, now the wolf done snuck up on you. Now he done turned you into a damn wolf, but you're a sheep. But now you being a sheep, you can go amongst other sheep, and then you can devour them. You can kind of set them up. Hey, come meet the sheep, right? And we're gonna kind of get into that. You know, that happened to Yahushua, right? So, like, read that.
I'm gonna read that again. I had a quick precept. This is 1 Corinthians 15 and 33. Be not deceived. Evil communication corrupt good manners. Right? Classic precept is 1 Corinthians 14 and 33. For Yahweh is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints. So if you're in the congregation with the saints, man, it's supposed to be peace. We are supposed to be keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability. It's supposed to be smooth sailing. Now, when does it become contention? When we let the enemy seep in. We let the different spirit come into the congregation. And it starts to rub off on different people. It starts to become infectious. It starts to spread, right? Like a cancerous cell, right? That's when the congregation or the fellowship becomes
it's at jeopardy now.
Jeopardy now, right? You know what I'm saying? Because a different spirit has entered into the temple, right? Yeah, all right, go ahead.
We're gonna keep it rolling. First, next precept is gonna be First Maccabees. Going to be in the Apocrypha in the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 11. First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 11.
I got it.
We're going into these and we're showing you accounts that these things are not a new thing in the earth, right? These things have been happening for a long time, and they will continue to happen. But Lord willing, they won't continue to happen to you if you have pray for this discernment, right, and have eyes to see when the adversary who is a lion come through and try to seek whom he may devour. But go ahead, Art.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
Right, Israel is a sheep. So you tell them it's evil, wicked sheep coming out of Israel that happened in the days of old. Read on.
Wicked men who persuaded many. See that? And not only are they wicked, hey, like we say all the time, Jacob go off, but he don't want to go off by himself, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's wicked men that's trying to persuade you, right, to be contentious and rebellious and wicked also, right? Saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, right? Expound on that a little bit,
right? And that's kind of because like they might be because like to try to hit on it, right? They can be Israel. They are Israel at the end because these are Israelites who have said, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. And so this is for those Israelites who know that they Israel, but they still straddle the fence and they still want to live the ways of the world. They
Right.
want to talk literature, but they don't want to deal with no scripture. Right? That's who these are. Right? That's wicked. For you to know you're an Israelite, you're supposed to be keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. You're not supposed to be causing contention. You're not supposed to be causing division, right? You're supposed to be trying to do your best to gather your brothers and sisters together, man.
That's
Bridge
right.
the gap, man. Not put out stumbling blocks and hurdles for other brothers and sisters to try to jump over. Neither are you trying to put blindfolds over your brothers and sisters to try to get them to go off and fall into a ditch.
Or not only to go off, but be blind to your infirmities, right? You know what I'm saying? To cover up their sight in your infirmities, right?
Right, because like, look, we can sit up here, we can kind of paint this premise. Hey, we're gonna be transparent, man. We're gonna be transparent in a fashion. Hey, try our spirit, man, and see whether or not that's we not what you be saying like all the time. You say, put us on trial, right? Right, try us, man, because this is not about this is not a contest, man. Well, we trying to get the kingdom, man, and we trying to bid all our brothers and sisters to the marriage, and we understand that the Most High God is watching and He recording everything, man.
Neither are we trying to attain any vainglory. Yahweh Shai get the glory at all times. The Most High and the only begotten Son get the glory. We are merely vessels trying to do the work of the Lord and get the kingdom and take as many people with us as we can. Right? It says, go ahead.
No, you can finish up on that first Maccabees. That's 111.
It says, in those days went out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. And you got to keep in mind, making a covenant with the heathen doesn't just allude to making a covenant with the other nations. You can be making a covenant with another Israelite that's practices from the other nations, right? So through theory, you have then made a covenant or an oath with the heathen through your brother that went off following, right? You know what I'm saying? That's why it says persuaded many, saying let us go, right? It's not that you might not be joining to the heathen, you joining to the Israelite that's following after the heathen.
Yeah, but if you don't have
their ways of the world, their rudiments, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's just you trying to being blinded by, oh, well, this is a brother or this is my sister, right? But what is the practices that they're keeping up brotherly or the actions sisterly, right? You know what I'm saying? Because if they not, then where did they learn that from? It's either of God or it's of the world,
right?
So
and that's why
not God, then it's of the world and it's of the heathen. Salakia, go ahead, Ken.
No, Salakia, and you can see we're kind of zealous about this topic, man, because we can go into a lot of things. I recall a brother that we've been building with through the Spirit, man, and he was talking about offending the little ones, and this topic it really hits home because this happens most to new brothers and sisters who come into this truth because they're not able to have a discernment to see what a sheep and a wolf is, or the tendencies of a wolf, and he can kind of blend in and creep in unawares, like it said in Jude. So a lot of our new brothers and sisters that's coming into this truth, they can be led astray. But we would bid you to, as the scriptures will say, hey, listen, let every man be convinced in his own mind. Right? You really got to be convinced. Don't go off of what we're telling you. We can never tell another brother or sister who and where not to deal with someone, if that makes sense.
But what we can say is try the spirit with the spirit, right? And a lot of time, like the brother was alluding to, is not, it's yes because you knew, and also because you're not far removed from where you were, right? So a lot of things you may still be exercising those demons, and it still may be familiar to you, right? It still may feel good, even though it don't seem good, right? But it may seem good, you know what I'm saying, and understand how venomous and deadly that it really can be, right?
You said But that's real, man. That's real spill, right? We're gonna keep it rolling through the spirit, right? Matthew 26.
I'm gonna finish this one. I ain't
Oh,
finished.
Salaki. Go ahead.
It says,
Salaki.
in those days went there out Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. Hey, man, since I started coming into this truth, man, I've been struggling. We've been going through it, man. I got to do something for the world because I got to get my little piece. You know what I'm saying, right? So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
Right. So now this sheep is now he done been enticed by the wolf, and he done went to the oppressor, to the heathen, and they done gave the sheep a license to be a wolf.
A license to wolf, a license to bear teeth.
Cause you know what that word forward means too. When you break it down in the Strongs, that means crooked, man. Right. So, and you know a wolf, man, it's real sneaky. Right, kind of sneak up on its prey, right, like a fox. Right. I saw a video of an Edomite man getting holed out by a fox recently. So like it, man. But they very sneaky. Right. Go ahead, dog.
Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the custom of the heathen.
Right. So now you know. Now you
stop right amongst the people.
Now you feel like you're a wolf, and now they done set up a whole gymnasium for you to exercise your crookedness, man.
Exercise, man. Verse 15, and made themselves uncircumcised. How? And forsook the holy covenant. And joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief.
Right. This is why you got to beware of those wolves and sheep clothing, man, because they can come in and they can devour you up, or they can kind of torture you a little bit and leave you out there, you know, for some more prey as far as a bait.
And that's the thing, though, when you know your loved ones are dealing with a certain type of spirit, we'll know by in any means saying forsake them. But you got to know what you're dealing with. Otherwise, how can you help? Right? You know what I'm saying? Man. You have to use wisdom. You have to know what you're engulfed in. Then you can try to affect and heal, you know, either from the inside out or from the outside in, wherever your position may be. But then you can really try to heal. But you have to understand what it is that you're dealing with.
What we saying? What is saying? Deuteronomy 10 and 12. Right. Yeah. Well, Salakia, Ecclesiastes 12 and 10. Right. Hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
12 and 13.
12 and 13. Salakia. Right. You got to hear the conclusion of the whole matter to really see if this person is really kind of giving you all the facts, to see if you really want to align yourself or offend or defend rather this person in this type of spiritual or carnal bout. Right. We're going to keep it rolling. This is Matthew 26
verse 14. I got you. Then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, went unto the chief priests and said unto them, what will ye give me? I will deliver him unto you. And they covenanted with him for 30 pieces of silver.
Right. And so we definitely got to get this account. We can't go into telling our brothers and sisters to beware of the wolves and sheep clothing and not talking about Hamashiach Yahushua, the righteous, and how he was deceived or he was attempted to be betrayed the water, how he was betrayed by a wolf in sheep's clothing, right? This is one of his disciples, man, one of the 12, as it says, right? Judas Iscariot, he went to the people, he said, hey, what are you going to give me for him if I offer him up?
Right.
He said silver, right? And that's another thing, man, just to kind of hit on it. A lot of your brothers in this truth, they're looking for accolades, trophies, right, on this side. Well, I did this for the brother. I did this. You know, you're trying to get the S on your chest, right? These are things that the Most High is going to turn his nose up at.
Right, that's the glory.
Right? Vain glory,
the vain glory, and they really robbing it of Hamashiach. Right, there's nothing that you're gonna be able to do for your brother that's gonna supersede what Hamashiach has done for us all. Right, you know what I'm saying? Nothing that you can do on this side that you can try to equivalate yourself or exalt yourself to a position of glory, because Christ has done the utmost for us when it comes to attaining glory, right? You can do all these things that you say you're gonna do, but more than likely, Jake's not willing to lay down his life for people that he know is going to betray him.
And then you got brothers and sisters that be like, whoa, well, as soon as, okay, they might do a deed, right? They might come in as a sheep, but then when things can go left, if you will, well, I did this for you, and I did this, and I did this and that, and then you're gonna do this to me,
right?
Well, I thought it was all praises to the Most High, brother. I thought
right.
I thought it was, hey man, ain't no sweat, King. Hey, say less. I thought it was that. Now it's you, like I'm offending you. The Most High give the increase, man. We say it all the time. So here you are now trying to get the silver or the shekels, as it says in the scriptures. Read on up.
Con. Slot. 1 second. It says, verse 16, and it says, from that time he sought opportunity to betray him. Right? Jump into verse 48.
Right.
Actually, I'm gonna start at 47. And while he yet spake, lo, Judas, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude with swords and slaves from the chief priests and elders of the people. Now he that betrayed him gave them a sign, saying, whomsoever I shall kiss, that same is he, hold him fast.
Right. You know what? A kiss, the scriptures tell you, greet every brother with a brotherly kiss. Right. That means that you really know somebody. You really done. That's an intimate thing, man, on a spiritual level. Right. So now this brother is using the right hand side for the left hand side activities. Right. I'm gonna show you who he is. I'm gonna give him a kiss. He gonna think I'm loving him, but I'm telling you, hey, that's him. Right. You have that going on amongst us, man, in Israel today. Right. Read on Oxalaki.
You want to keep reading on that?
No. We understand what happened. After that, man, Yahushua was betrayed. They came through, snatched him up. Peter grabbed a sword. Hey, all hell was trying to break loose right there. Right. In that context. We're gonna keep it rolling through the spirit. Matthew.
Jump to the next precept. This is Proverbs 27 and verse 5.
Classic.
Proverbs 27 and verse 5. Man, I'm gonna start at 1, Bach.
Come on, bring it out.
It says, boast not thyself of tomorrow.
You see that?
For thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. Let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth. A stranger, and not thine own lips.
Hey man, a wolf will tell you everything that you want to hear, man. Right? It's real conniving. Again, it's sneaky. Right? It'll tell you something else that you about someone who you we ain't gonna get into it. But a wolf will do, hey, it's just like a serpent. It's just like the serpent, man. It's gonna tell you things to kind of get you to go off, and it know exactly what you need to hear. It's gonna give you exactly what you need to get you to go wherever you want you to
destroy yourself.
Go ahead, though.
A stone is heavy, and the sand weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than them both. Wrath is cruel, and anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy? Right? Open rebuke is better than secret love.
What does the Lord say?
Open rebuke is better than secret love.
And a lot of times, man, even like I can speak transparent for myself, man, coming from a non-hostile, real meek in the spirit. Hey, but sometimes, as it says in 1 Timothy 5:20, man, and you got to rebuke, man. You got to rebuke that. Whatever type of spirit they're coming in, they kind of, you thought they was a sheep, but they come in as a wolf. Hey, wait a minute. You got to rebuke them at the gates sharply, as the scriptures say. Right? But it says an open rebuke is what?
Better than secret love.
Because if you don't rebuke, if you don't say something, now every time they come around and you're like, but deep down inside, you secretly loving that. right? You hating them, and now you hating yourself,
right?
Because you didn't say anything. You're gonna bite your own self, right? Go ahead, Art.
Faithful are the wounds of a friend,
Mm-hmm.
but kisses of an enemy are deceitful.
Right, just what happened to Yahushua, right? Kisses of an enemy are deceitful, right? It's a bad feeling, and you know they got worldly saying you getting stabbed in your back by your own best friend.
Right.
These things happen, man, and they still do. You got something up?
The full soul loatheth in honeycomb, but to the hungry soul, every bitter thing is sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I yield on that.
Come on, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 9. We're gonna keep it rolling. Matthew 24 and verse 9. And it reads, it says, they shall, so like it, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted,
You see
and
that?
shall kill you,
Mm-hmm.
and ye shall
And
be.
that's remember, like the brother brought out earlier, if they hate you, they might as well have killed you.
Con,
Right? You know what I'm saying? So they have ill intentions in their spirits and they willing to deliver you up and offer you up to the enemy who may oppress you, or just offer you up as in your trust, to betray you, to make light of the relationship you built, right? They're willing to destroy your reputation, your character, right? They're willing to assassinate you, and all for the betterment of positioning themselves, right?
con,
You know what I'm
on
saying?
a carnal level,
On a carnal level, right? Go ahead, King.
right?
Amongst men, to be seen of men, right? Go ahead, King.
Con. This is verse, I'm picking back up at verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
Right?
And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another.
And shall
And
what?
betray one another.
Right? This truth is going to offend people to the point where it's going to force people to be at contention with you. Not even on their own. It's just the truth of the truth is going to force people to not be able to coincide with you. They're not going to be able to be on one accord with you because they're not on one accord with the Most High Hamashiach.
Con.
So if you drawn that line in the sand and you're willing to walk according to what the Most High has laid, the path He's laid in front of us, if you're willing to go and walk that straight gate, then by default, that broad way is going to be against you. They don't have a choice. It's spiritual. They can't even understand why they're so against you, but they are.
Con.
Right?
Con. An example, man, it happened to Saul. And it happened to Pharaoh in Egypt. Right? The Most High harden he can harden their hearts. Where they just can't even understand. I don't even know. You can't even they couldn't even give you an example why they wolves. They just want to be a wolf.
Right.
Right. This is picking up at verse 11. Matthew 24 and verse 11. And many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
You see that? Because sin is so prominent, the love of many is going to wax cold.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be that genuine love for your brother. It's not going to be that saluting my brother with a tender kiss, really in meekness and in love, right? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be evil eyes toward your brother. It's going to be backbiting, right? It's going to be slanders, right? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be double tongued. It's going to be tail bearing. It's going to be lying, right? It's going to be all types of manner of putting people, putting yourself before the next person, right? You know what I'm saying? And making sure that you are in a con. I let the brother Judah say we're seeing that right now. Con, we absolutely are, right? And that's a lot. That's the reason why we went into this class, because it's become so prominent in our community, in our nation, right? We're seeing this every day on a minute level and on a larger scale, right?
Con, and that's why I was telling Ak, we was kind of getting this breakdown going through the spirit. And a lot of times when you watching those CI movies and those investigating stories, if you will. You know, they kind of checking out the crime scene, all right, to see how this thing went down. No witnesses, but they looking at the door. They kind of look at the door and they looking at it. They say, "Oh well, there's no forced entry, right? The window's not broken in, you know. But shoot, so how did they get in? Because they was a sheep, right? There was a wolf dressed as sheep clothing. It's gonna be somebody closest to you, man.
That's right.
It's gonna be someone who, hey, what's going on? Hey, Shalom, peace, King. Right? Hey, sis, how you doing? Right? Oh, you look. Hey, that's what you're gonna see in these last days.
I miss y'all. I miss you. You know what I'm saying? We need to do this. I need to hang out. I love you.
As soon as they get in, man, you lock the door, man. Dun dun dun.
Come out.
Right? The dang con. Right?
Damn
so
psycho with the knife.
Right. So we telling you these things because we know that these things are evident, man. It's evident. Right? We seeing them, they're unfolding right before our eyes. Or you got some more on that out?
Con. Well, no, I got the yeah, I got one more on that.
You gotta get that one. Yeah.
Yeah, gotta get that one. It's verse 13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Hey, we gotta endure all these things. And that's the beauty of the scriptures, right? Because the Most High, through the Spirit of Yahweh Shai, has already told us what to look for. He's told us the things that's going to befall us. He's left us clues and understanding of the times. It says, wisdom and knowledge thou shall be the stability of the times. But when you find yourself in these different, generations and different things that are coming to pass, you can revert back to the scriptures, and it's going to elaborate on the type of spirits that they were dealing with back then and that we're going to be dealing with now. It's the same thing. And you combat, right, the wicked spirits with the Holy Spirit, right?
That's right.
You got some right?
No, we're going the next precept is going to be Matthew 10 and verse 16.
I'm there.
Right? Matthew 10 and 16. You can bring it out.
And it reads, Matthew chapter 10 and verse 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. But be ye therefore wise as serpents, but harmless as doves. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils. They will scourge you in their synagogues.
Right. You can kind of be between and amongst them, and you can kind of, be feeling like they for you and things of that nature. But as soon as everything go left, right, the thing, it hits the fan, right, they're gonna deliver you up. It's either you or me.
Right.
You got brothers in this truth that have that type of spirit.
That's right.
It's either you or it's me, and it ain't gonna be me. Right? That's the type of spirit that these brothers and sisters moving in, man. We gotta. It's no, like I said earlier, there's no room for that in Israel. Go ahead, out.
Verse 18. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles.
Right, you're gonna have all hell breaking loose. You're gonna have all the curses kind of bogging down on you. Right, the weight of the world kind of hanging on you, and the enemy gonna say, or the government, hey, who you gonna serve, man? I got something for you if you do this. If you want to just, hey, you got to stand bold. 10 toes. Go ahead, Doc.
For a testimony against them and the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye shall speak. For it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you.
You're gonna be lifted up, going brought before your adversaries, and you're gonna say, "How about Shimmy? How Shabbarakathon?" Right before they offer you up, man. That's the spirit that you got to be in. Man. All praises to the Most High God in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai.
That's right.
Whatever befalls me, let it befall me. We're gonna keep it rolling.
More on that. And the brother shall deliver up the brother, right? Family turn on family to death. And the father, the child. And the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. Again, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved.
Con. Got a quick precept in the book of Acts, chapter 20 and verse 27. Right, Acts 20. We're going to start at 27.
Con.
Right, it says, "For I have not shunned to declare unto you all the counsel of the Most High."
Right? We not slack to bring out all the understanding that comes from Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. We're not gonna filter it. We're not gonna slant it. We're not gonna shy away from it. Right? We're gonna give you the counsel of the Most High God through His Spirit of His Son Yahweh Shai the righteous. Right? Go ahead.
"Take heed, therefore, unto yourselves and to all the flock over the which the Holy Ghost have made you overseers,
Right?
to feed the church of the Most High, which he hath purchased with his own blood.
Go ahead.
For I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves
what?
Grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock."
So it's going, and that's why we said prior to this precept that He's already told us what's going to happen. It's going to be grievous wolves that come into these flocks, come into these churches, come into these congregations, come into these families, come into these houses, come into these brotherhoods, come into these sisterhoods, come into these friendships, come into these relationships, come into these marriages. It's going to be grievous wolves that's coming into these different relationships only to bring contention and strife. It's literally their job. Go ahead, King.
Verse 30. "Also of your own selves shall men arise speaking perverse things."
Of yourselves shall men arise speaking perverse things. Go ahead.
"To draw away disciples after them."
To do what?
Draw away disciples after them.
Again, they trying to cause contention. They trying to, wicked men of Israel came persuading many. Right? It's the same thing. They gonna come trying to, with their own doctrine, their own understanding, saying y'all should do this. This would work. I've been watching y'all. I've seen the type of spirit that y'all in, and I think this is what y'all should do. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 31. "Therefore, watch."
Therefore, do what?
Watch.
Do what?
Watch.
Now fall asleep at the wheel.
Watch.
And
remember that by the space of 3 years I ceased not to warn everyone night and day with tears.
Right? Brother said, I've been warning y'all night and day that this was going to happen. Read on.
That's it on that. So right.
Now read that 32.
I dropped out. Salaki.
Okay. It says, "And now, brethren, I commend you to Yahweh and to the word of his grace, which is able to build you up and to give you an inheritance among all them which are sanctified." Right? And we know in order to attain that inheritance, you have to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. You have to keep the faith in Hamashiach. You have to bear the fruits of the Spirit. You have to be long-suffering, merciful, and gracious. You have to love the Most High above all powers. You have to love your brother as you would love yourself. Otherwise, there's no room for you in the inheritance. Those are the stipulations left that the Most High left in the will for us.
Because if you're not doing that, then you will be considered a wolf.
Right. Absolutely.
You would be a wolf. Right. You finish that about?
That's it. That's all I got, King.
Sirach chapter 5 and verse 9. Right. Sirach chapter 5 and verse 9. We're gonna read through 14. Right, in the Apocrypha. It says, "When now, not with every wind, and go not into every way."
Right. You can't be tossed to and fro in this truth. Right. You can't I kind of deal with them and I kind of rock with them, and I love them. So like, hey, or they bearing fruits of the Spirit, right? Or they moving in righteousness. You can't be tossed to and fro, right? Go ahead.
For so doeth the sinner that hath a double tongue.
Because you're gonna be dealing with somebody that has a double tongue, right? If it's not going through the spirit of Hamashiach, you're gonna be dealing with somebody that's not dealing straightly, right? You got somebody.
Yeah, example, man. You know, the Three Little Bears, man. You know, the old fairy tale where what was the Three Little Pigs, Salaki? One of the damn fables, right? Where the wolf comes sneaking in, yeah, and he's sitting. It's the Three Little Pigs, and he kind of sitting in there. The wolf done came in there dressed up as a pig,
Right,
as the granny.
right.
I think that's Little Red Riding Hood. One of the fables, right? You know what I'm talking about. And they was like, "Oh well, mom, grandma, what big teeth you have?" Oh, she was like,
That's
"Oh,
another Three Little Pigs. Like you mixing everything up, but we rocking
what is
with you.
that?"
I don't know, but
Okay. Right. But you understand what we're saying, man, when we're going into this, because the it's Little Red Riding Hood, because she's telling her, she's like, she's seeing that this is not who she's used to seeing. Right? The water says the water. Right. Right. Little Red Riding Hood is saying that this is not her grandmother, but she's saying this is her grandmother.
Right.
And she's calling out these things that she used to see, not she used to seeing her, and then she keeps giving her excuses.
Hey, the
She
damn
keeps
wolf
going,
done
this.
took, the wolf done took over, or the damn demon done took over.
Uh-huh.
This is not my brother, bruh. This is
Right.
not my sister. This is not my, my elder. This is not my, but I swear it is. But the spirit is unrecognizable. Right.
But that's where the double tongue comes in, because she put a twist on it. The wolf will put a twist. No, I got these so I can eat that porridge that you brought me.
Right.
Oh, your big ears. Oh, no, these, I just got these the other day. You know, don't mind these. You know, I just got these style. Right. So you just, every time something was brought up, and that's what you're going to see in Israel, is when you call something out, when you see a wolf and you speak on it, they're going to give you a double tongue.
Right.
They're going to kind of backpedal on what's something that they.
The tribes of Gad and Reuben, the northern kingdom, called the heathens. They said they had a forked tongue. Forked tongue, like a serpent, right? You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing in Israel. We've adopted those characteristics from the heathen. Right? You know what I'm saying? But I digress, King. Go ahead.
Hey, that's a good point, man. We're gonna keep it rolling. That was we back in Sirach chapter 5, and we picking up at verse 10. Be steadfast in thy understanding,
right?
And let thy word be the same.
Right. So you gotta stick to your guns. Right. If they come and saying, I know that they be saying this in the truth, but you should do this. And now that ain't really off. You should do it like this.
Give me a
precept. I know it say you ain't supposed to buy on the Sabbath, but you hungry, ain't you? You know what I'm saying? Like they gonna find all type of excuses not to do what Christ has set up for us to do. They might tell you we can't even do it, but we can do all things through Christ. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Verse 11.
Stick to your guns and let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. Right? Go ahead.
Sirach 5 and 11. Be swift to hear, and let thy life be sincere.
And that's that's very powerful too, that you allow people to speak and listen to them. Right? Don't interrupt them with speech, and don't make haste to correct them. Give them enough opportunity, because one thing a fool gonna talk. And when they continuously paint their picture, you'll see what type of spirit that they coming in. Right? You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be undeniable. Allow them to paint their premise, and then you decide through the spirit if that's the spirit.
Right? It's an old worldly saying too, as well. It says if you give them enough rope,
they gonna hang themselves.
Right? You just gotta sit back, man, and use wisdom. Right. Picking back up in Sirach chapter 5 and verse 12. If thou hast understanding,
like 11 again.
Sirach 5 and 11. Be swift to hear, and let thy life be sincere. And with patience give answer.
With what?
With patience give answer.
Sometimes you gotta let it play out. What you mean? Can you explain that a little bit more? So what are you really saying? So you really mean got you? Well, now I don't agree with that, right? You know what I'm saying? Allow people to paint their premise, right? Go ahead, King.
Verse 12. If thou hast understanding,
now where would you get the understanding? It says, if thou hast understanding, right? This is 2nd Esdras 14, verse 25. It says, come hither, and I will light a candle of understanding in thine heart, which shall not be put out till the things be performed which thou shalt begin to write. So the spirit or the Alahayim saying, come here and I'll light a candle of understanding. What is that candle of understanding? Psalms 119, I believe, is 105 on down. It says that the law is a lamp unto my feet, right? So that understanding is understanding the laws, statutes, and commandments, the scriptures, the wisdom of the word, right? Now bring that back to chapter 5, verse 12 in the book of Sirach, and read that again.
If thou hast understanding,
of the law and how your people should move, and I'm gonna prove to you that it's talking about your people. Read.
If thou hast understanding, answer thy neighbor.
Who is your neighbor? It's your stock of your people. So if you have an understanding as to how your people is supposed to be moving according to scripture and understanding of the word, then what?
If not, lay thy hand upon thy mouth.
If thou hast understanding, answer thy neighbor. If not, don't say nothing. If you don't understand the law, now we're not talking about the rudiments of the world, the ways of the world, the understandings of this society, what could best be fit. Now, can you use some vices for that to benefit yourself? Sure. But if it doesn't coincide with the law, statutes, and commandments, lay your hands over your mouth, because that's not of the Most High, right? Go ahead, King.
Honor and shame is in talk.
In what?
In talk.
So honor and shame is in talk. What you say, your knowledge or your wisdom or your foolishness and your stupidity is going to be established through your speech, right? Go ahead.
And shame is in talk, and the tongue of man is his fall.
You see that? Because you can, I thought you was smart until a person would think you had an understanding and was wise. You got your big fringes on, your beard long, right? You know what I'm saying? You Kwam Yasharala this and Shalom like that, right? But then I started to talk to you, bro, and I thought you was in the spirit until you started talking, bro.
Yeah.
And I can see that you really not in the spirit. Sister Shalom Akwat, and I'll pray this to the Most High, stay in the spirit, Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Barakatah. But you keep talking to him, and the world starts to come out. It starts to pour out. It's seeping through their pores. You can see it through their eyes, right? You know what I'm saying? And you can't deny the truth over well. And a lot of people play innocent with that double tongue too, right? You know what I'm saying? They have an innocent appearance, right? You know what I'm saying? But that tongue is more.
It's double. It can speak one. It can speak on the left
it's
side.
amazing. It's amazing and another thing with that countenance, you know what I'm saying? The appearance can be one thing, but to really try the spirit is to see the countenance that they carry, right? You know what I'm saying? And it will never lead you astray, right? It's more discerning than anything, right? Being able to read their countenance and how they carry themselves according to what the scripture says, right? But Salakia, go ahead.
Sirach 5:13. Be not called a whisperer.
Just 14. Go ahead.
Salakia 14. Be not called a whisperer, and lie not in wait with thy tongue. For a foul shame is upon the thief, and an evil condemnation upon the double tongue.
Read.
Be not
Keep that shit
ignorant.
on that. Keep that shit on that.
I'm gonna finish it up. Be
Go
not
ahead.
ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small.
Hey,
Right.
you know what? Roll into the next chapter because that's the next pre. Cut.
And that's why you gotta that's essentially, man, we don't want our brothers and sisters to be ignorant in small or large matters, right? Because something can be so big, and someone can come in your aid, and you thinking it's, hey, Satan can bless you too, man.
Come on.
Satan can bless you.
Satan will try to bless and entice you, right, to keep you away from things of righteousness. Right?
Because they see that, because Satan can see, and he has an understanding of who the Most High God has caused you to be. He knows your attributes and the gifts and the talents that you have been given via the Most High. He knows if you got potential or not. But you know, when that's his job, is to be an adversary, right? Your opponent, an op.
And he pours that spirit of opposition, jealousy, and envy, right, on different people. So they might see your potential as well. And if they see you conquering your potential before they tap into theirs, then they're gonna do anything to divert you from that path. Right.
That's a good point. That's a good point. We're gonna pick up in Sirach 6, right? Flowing through the next chapter, Sirach 6. Instead of a friend, become not an enemy. For thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name, shame and reproach. Even so shall a sinner that hath a double tongue.
You see that? You can only speak that fourth language, you know what I'm saying, for so long before you called on it. And then you held to it. And then you created a reputation for yourself. Right? You know what I'm saying? You can only go off into the world and be wickedly amongst people that's trying to be righteous for so long before it becomes a highlight. Right?
You know
like,
that,
go ahead.
No, Salaki, you know they say misery loves what?
Company,
man. So these wolves, you know what? Salakia. Wolves travel in packs.
Right.
So of course they want somebody to be able to be around them, man, to assist them, right, with them going off, like that we were just bringing out early. Go ahead. I'm gonna finish. Keep going on this. Sirach 6. I'm picking up at verse 2. Extol not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart.
You see that? That's the same way it says, let another person lips praise you and not your own. Right? That's Sirach 27:2. I mean Proverbs 27:2.
That thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bull straying alone. Thou shalt eat up thy leaves and loose thy fruit and leave thyself as a dry tree.
You see that? When you extol yourself, you eat up your leaves and losing your fruit, and you have become a dry tree, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you have literally, you trying to you haven't allowed yourself to be watered, right? You know what I'm saying? You trying to do all these things to fulfill your own appetite, like eating up your own leaves, bruh, and you're not bearing any fruits through that, right? Go ahead, King.
A wicked soul shall destroy him that hath it.
See, the soul, when you move in wickedness, it ain't nothing nobody else can do that's gonna corrupt you more than you corrupting yourself. Your soul is going to destroy you when you moving in wickedness, right? Go ahead.
And shall make him to be laughed to scorn of his enemies.
Go ahead.
Sweet language will multiply friends.
It'll do what?
Will multiply friends. And a fair speaking tongue will increase kind greetings. Be in peace with many, nevertheless, have but one counselor of 1,000.
Have but what?
Be in peace with many, nevertheless.
Have peace with anybody you want to, right? But not everybody's gonna give you sound advice or doctrine. Read.
Be in peace with many, nevertheless, have but one counselor of 1,000.
Read.
If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first.
Right.
And be not hasty to credit him.
Go ahead.
For some man is a friend for his own occasion.
And that is really, really powerful. We don't understand how much of a milk precept that is, but how accurate it is in our nation. A lot of people are a friend, a brother, a sister for their own occasion. Though it appear that they might be looking or seemingly to help you, ultimately they're trying to help themselves, right? Through you. Let me see what they lacking at, what they may need, what I think. Yeah, I know I probably could do that. And then they offer themselves up of assistance, but for their benefit, right? Read.
I'm looking up a precept real quick just through the spirit because it says have one counselor, but be at peace with many. This is 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 7.
Bring it out.
It says ever learning and never able to come into the knowledge of the truth. Ever learning and never able to come into the knowledge of truth. You got so many counselors. You still confounded at the end of the day because you still don't know what's up and what's down. You still don't know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you got to have one counselor. Right? You got all these people. Be at peace with all men. The scriptures tell you that. But when you got so many someone can creep in unaware. Right? Just like the scriptures say. We're going to keep it rolling in that book of Sirach, picking up at 6, verse 8. For some man is a friend for his own occasion and will not abide in the day of thy trouble.
You see that? But in the day of your trouble, they're going to roll on you, right? They're gonna try to pick you apart. They're going to slander you, right?
And there is a friend who, being turned to enmity, which is hate, and strife, will discover thy reproach.
He'll do what?
Discover thy reproach.
Now, through wickedness, he gonna discover your weak spots, right? Basically, the brother gonna kick you when you're down. Right? Go ahead.
See, I told you. That's when I told you so was coming.
Right.
Well, why you ain't do? What you asking me? Why I ain't do this? You supposed to be giving me counsel on how to get out, not on why I did what I had did.
Or what I should have did.
Or what I should have did.
Right. And that's not that type of spirit is not considering thyself. They're not considering themselves. They're weighing your situation in a balance beam, not considered if and when they may have been in that position. Right? Go ahead,
Pick it up at verse
12, I think.
12. No. Verse 10. Verse 10. Sirach 6 and 10. Again, some friend is a companion at the table.
Right.
And will not continue in the day of thy affliction.
Read.
But in thy prosperity.
But what?
In thy prosperity, you will be as thyself.
But wait till it's your day of glory. When it's out, they won't want all the credit. They gonna want all a little bit of shine with you.
But they're gonna say this they're gonna be like, let me borrow $5 tomorrow.
Right. Or it ain't even gotta be monetary. I just want to shine with you. I knew we was going. I always knew we was going. Look at y'all coming. I just love y'all. And damn, when we just the, you know what I'm saying? When we just the culprit of the bad news and the bad advice and the I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Well, not just that person, but in the day of my glory, you joined with me as one that is has put in the labor that I've put in for this glory. Right? Go ahead.
But in thy prosperity, he will be as thyself and will be bold over thy servants.
And he gonna call the shots like they you. They gonna be trying to run shit like they literally you. Right? Go ahead.
If thou be brought low.
If what?
If thou be brought low. He will be against thee.
Right.
And will hide himself from thy face. Separate thyself from thine enemies and take heed of thy friends.
Nah, we supposed to cleave to them.
Separate thyself from thine enemies and
Hey,
take
the Most
heed.
High called them type of people your enemies. Right? Go ahead.
And take heed of thy friends.
Uh-huh.
A faithful friend is a strong defense.
But a faithful friend, right, is built for adversity. A faithful friend, right, is a strong defense. Go ahead.
A strong defense. And he that found such and one hath found a treasure.
Go ahead.
Nothing doeth countervail a faithful friend. And
Mm-hmm.
he is excellency so like he is excellency. His excellency, Salakia, is invaluable.
You see that?
Can't put a price on that thing, man. Every
Kind.
time something happened, his brother been there. Every time something happened, that sister been there, calling you. Sometimes, hey man, when I'm going through adversity, brothers, hey, Shan, one time, man, I was going through some diverse time in my life, man. One of the hardest. He said, I just want to be there. I don't. It ain't nothing you can say that friend that's innumerable or invaluable, as the scriptures say. They just want to be there, right? This is how you judge the trees and try their fruit. Proving a friend to see whether they be a wolf or a sheep.
Because sometimes it ain't even about what you say. It's just about just being a brother, being a friend. Nothing don't need to be said. Let me just be here for you.
Right? Now you done said, let me keep it rolling. Right? Verse 16. A faithful friend is the medicine of life.
And a faithful friend is the medicine of life, right? Because life comes with all types of different variations of disease, viruses, and plagues in different forms. But a faithful friend is going to see all of them through. They're the medicine to life, right? Go ahead.
Right. Salakia. A medicine of life, and they that fear the Most High shall find it. Whoso feareth the Lord shall direct his friendship aright.
You see that? He that feareth the Most High is going to direct the friendship aright. How? According to Scripture. It cannot be improved upon. Opinions don't matter. Vainglory don't matter. Vain thoughts lodged within oneself does not matter. Directing your friendship to right will be directing them according to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Period. No wiggle room. Right? Go ahead.
For as he is, so shall his neighbor be also.
And what does that paraphrase? It's paraphrasing the law. Love your brother as you would love yourself.
We're going to keep it rolling in Sirach chapter 28 and verse 13. All right, Sirach 28 and 13.
So like I started is that where I want you to start?
You can start
No, that's it. You start at 13.
Okay, come. Sirach 28 and verse 13. Curse the whisperer. Curse the whisperer and double-tongued.
And what?
Double-tongued.
Right? So the Most High said, curse the person that is whispering and has a double tongue, right? Go ahead.
For such have destroyed many that were at peace.
You see that? These people that come kicking up confusion, contention, and strife, they will throw off peace of other people. That one person that it's all love between y'all until this person come around. As soon as this person come around, they whisper in your ear, they whisper in their ear, and now all of a sudden you and this person at odds, and you don't even know why. You just heard that such and such said such and such, and oh boy told you that such and such said you. It's all this confusion, right? That's the whisperer and the double tongue. Always in everybody else's business. Got a little bit to say about this and that, and him and her, and I always got something like that, right?
That's right, Doc. That's right. Brothers say, man, if we applied these scriptures as a nation, we would be unstoppable, and we would be better off, man. You know, but
these scriptures that we bringing out would destroy Deuteronomy 28 and 54.
It would break all the curses.
Deuteronomy 28 and 55, right? Literally, right?
Picking up at verse 17. Salakia, 14. Sirach 28:14. A backbiting tongue hath disquieted many and driven them from nation to nation.
Right. Or city
Strong
to city,
cities,
household to household. Go ahead.
strong cities hath it pulled down and overthrown the houses of great
Strong
men.
friendships, strong brotherhoods, strong sisterhoods, strong families, strong congregation have been pulled down and overthrown from a backbiter and a double tongue. Right? Go ahead.
Hey, verse 15. A backbiting tongue hath cast out virtuous women and deprived them of their labors.
You got it. Right?
Right. And this is kind of speaking on, man, like it's got to get on the brothers and it's got to get on the sisters too, man. It's double fold when it comes to the scriptures according to Job. And when we go into these scriptures, you can speak to what sis, I would have did, or sis, I would have did this. Now you can take away from even from a man's standpoint or point of view, you can take away his royalty or his dominion of his kingship or the demeanor that he's supposed to be walking in. You can belittle that. You can trot that down. And on the right hand side, we're dealing with the woman, you can take away her virtue, right? You can kind of start you could be in a backbiting spirit, a double tongue spirit. So now this Eve, who knows she's a daughter of Zion, now she want to be an Eve. Now she kind of coming against her head. Now she had kind of got you don't put a spirit on her to so it's what's up, Bob?
She don't put a spirit on her to book up and turn down our household, right? Because your household might be ran a certain type of way, and you could take a peaceful and blissful friendship,
harmonious
brotherhood, sisterhood, household, and insert your doctrine, energy, spirit, and completely overthrow that thing, man. Now it's complete chaos.
So now it's no way that we can now take these scriptures and just kind of stretch these things as if these things aren't so. These things happen, man. They are happening. They are real.
Neither are we taking these. Hey, man, the Most High is perfect. The reason that this was written aforetime because he knew they was going to be happening in our time. Now we can revert right back to these scriptures and see them happening right before our eyes, right? It's real. We see it in real time every day, right?
It's a something that's going on right now, like with some laws, like with releasing prisoners right now.
Yeah, the purge.
The purge, right? They releasing prisoners on certain
Illinois.
It's starting in Illinois, but they releasing these prisoners with no money bail. They just letting them go. Now, I don't know about you, Og, but that sound more like, hey, give us Barabbas. You know what I'm saying? They want the wicked. They're gonna release the wicked out there
and start locking up the sons of the Most High.
Man. It's these things are happening, man. We gotta have eyes to see. We gotta pray for discernment every day. Man. You gotta try every fruit. You gotta wake up, man, and put on the spirit of Christ, man, because you can be deceived by anything, anyone. Right? We're gonna keep it rolling. What was it?
16.
Verse 16. Whoso hearkeneth unto it shall never find rest and never dwell quietly.
Referencing the backbiting double tongue, right? Go ahead.
The stroke of a whip maketh marks in the flesh, but the stroke of the tongue breaketh the bones. Many have fallen by the edge of the sword, but not so many have fallen by the tongue.
Right? And it's a little member, but it can cause much chaos and has caused much chaos, bro. Go ahead, you got it.
And it will. You know, when we don't have eyes to see, it will do these things. Right. That's the other thing it said on that.
This is Sirach 21. I'm gonna start at 16. Sirach 21, starting at 16. It says, the talking of a fool is like a burden in the way,
So like, you give me Sirach 21:1 through 2, and then drop down to 16.
I got you. Sirach 21 and verse 1. It says, "My son, hast thou sinned? Do so no more. But ask pardon for thy former sins."
Right? Because ultimately, man, we all gonna fall short of the glory of the Most High God. But when you do, when you acknowledge that shortcoming, hey, repent or ask pardon for those former sins. Read on.
Flee from sin. As from the face of a serpent.
As a what?
As from the face of a serpent.
Read on.
For if thou comest too near it, it will bite thee.
You see that? And that's how we got to be aware. Because like sometimes, man, you can kind of, you think we cool. You know, I can charm this snake. You can right? You think you can tame the snake, and the snake done what the pop say on Friday? I said, dog. I said, please, right? You got too close, man.
Right.
You got to be aware, man. The scriptures tell you that they creep in unaware. You think that you kind of close, and you lifting up yourself in your own flesh, and that you think that none of these things, like with us, man, you got to be careful. You got to know your weaknesses. Even though you're getting built up in this truth, you've been a year in this thing, 2 years, etc., etc. You feel like you can kind of chill. Hey, the scriptures tell you that, hey, what's that in Psalms? Hey, sit not sit not in the seat of the scornful. Right? You can't be sitting amongst them like that, man.
That's right.
You start sitting amongst them like that, and you're gonna get too close, and it's gonna rub off on you.
That's right.
Right. And now you done been bit with the plague, man.
And that's powerful what you're saying too, Ike, because Christ did sit with the sinners and the publicans and whatnot. But Christ's spirit was strong enough to influence them and not be influenced by them. Right? You know what I'm saying?
And it's hard to pull people up, man, but it's easier to pull people down.
That's right.
Right. So sometimes you can't just you got to realize your strength. Like, look, I'm really not, I'm kind of just walking in this thing. Look,
we are called to pull people up.
But
you got to have the strength to do it.
But you got
to build up that spiritual muscle.
You got to know, you got to examine yourself too, man. You got to really see where you at in this walk. Right. If you don't have the strength to be around brothers and sisters like that, to kind of strengthen them, you can't blindlessly or aimlessly go behind enemy lines and think and just blindlessly Yahweh, please, if you're not built like that yet.
Hey, man, sometimes you got to revert yourself for your sake. They might be you acting funny. Nah, I'm working on my spirit. I'm working on myself, and I don't really have time for distractions. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get somewhere spiritually. I have a goal. My house has a goal. We have things that we establishing, and it's not expedient for me to be dealing with a lot of different spirits that are not on the same accord that I'm on.
Right? You'll hear things like this. Man, see, you came to the truth, you done changed. Oh, see, you like this now.
You're supposed to say the same when you come in this truth.
Right.
This truth should change you, right?
Yeah. Come. Yeah, get that.
I'm gonna finish 2 out. Actually, I'm gonna finish 3, and then I'm gonna jump to 16. Verse 2, it says, "Flee from sin as from the face of a serpent, for if thou comest too near it, it will bite thee. The teeth thereof are as the teeth of a lion, slaying the souls of men."
Right, because you really got close because you think that, okay, it's just a snake, and you feel like you can just get the 2 fangs. Now I done bit you like a lion. Right, and grabbed a hold of you. It done bit off more than what you thought it was going to chew. Go ahead, Verse 3, I got you. All iniquity is as a 2-edged sword, and wounds whereof cannot be healed. Right, when you continue to put yourself around things like that nature, man, you asking for trouble, and these wounds, those are double swords, man. When you put them things in there and you twist them, hey, them things take a long time to heal, or they might not even heal. Verse 16. The talking of a fool is like a burden in the way, but grace shall be found in the lips of the wise.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 17.
Finish the
The,
chapter out.
con,
There's
the
some heat.
inquiry, the inquirer, the inquiry
They
at the
inquire.
the inquire at the mouth of the wise man in the congregation, and they shall ponder his words in their heart.
You see that? It said the talking of a fool is a burden in the way, but grace shall be found with the lips of the wise. Now, these foolish, they inquire at the mouth of the wise man in the congregation, but they ponder at his words in their heart. They don't really receive them, right? Go ahead.
Verse 18. As is a house that is destroyed, so is wisdom to a fool.
Why? Because wisdom is too high for a fool.
Con.
They can't really grasp it. They can't hold on to it, right? Go ahead.
And the knowledge of the unwise is as talk without sense.
So they talk recklessly without making sense of what they're saying, right? They just spew a bunch of madness without any understanding, right? Go ahead.
Verse 19. Doctrine unto fools is as fetters on the feet, and like manacles on the right hand.
Read.
A fool lifted up his voice with laughter.
Right.
But
They want to make sure you're having a good time. It's always about, right, making sure that you smiling but go ahead.
But a wise man doeth scarce smile a little.
But a man of understanding is not always about a good time. It's about a time of understanding. Just like Christ, he was an austere man. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 21. Learning is unto a wise man as an ornament of gold.
You see, when you bringing out wisdom and knowledge and understanding to a wise man, that learning ability, he gonna take those jewels, those jewels, and it's gonna be like an ornament of gold around his neck, right? I'm gonna take that one with me. I like that, King. Go ahead.
And like a bracelet upon his right arm.
Right.
A foolish man's foot is soon in his neighbor's house.
Right.
But a man of experience is ashamed of him.
You see that? A foolish man, a foot in the neighbor's house is like putting your foot in your mouth or stepping somewhere you're not supposed to be stepping. You out of bounds, bro. But an experienced man is gonna be ashamed of how you moving. Reckless with your tongue, can't bridle at your mouth. Always in somebody else's business, stepping on other people's toes or your foot in their house, right? Go ahead.
A fool will peep in at the door,
right,
into the house,
right. Open your nose in somebody else's business, right? Go ahead.
But he that is well nurtured will stand without.
Hey, you gonna mind your own.
That's discipline
too. You gonna bring out things that can benefit this person without digging too deep into their bag, right? Salakia, I used to say something.
No, that requires discipline.
Right.
And that's how you know. Yeah. And that's how you know that other brothers and sisters might be lacking if you can give them some information and they supposed to be and they run off with it and it kind of wait, man, I thought okay. Now you know they done showed you who they are, right? The scriptures tell you, well, not it's a worldly saying, it says loose lips sink ships, right? A foolish man. Right. Picking up at verse 24. It is the rudeness of a man to hearken at the door.
It's rude to poke your nose in other people's business. It's rude to speak on things that don't concern you. You right at the door trying to figure out, got your mouth or your nose, right. You all up in the mix, man.
All up underneath the door, trying to.
You in your house with your rib and your family hanging pictures on the wall. They peeking at the door, looking through the damn peephole. Now scoot that over 2 inches. Nah, better over there. Who the hell said that? Right? They all in your nah, man. Y'all should put that over on the other wall. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo.
You like, yo? No, bro. That's not me.
You know what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah, man. It said, verse 24, it is the rudeness of a man to hearken at the door, but a wise man will be grieved with The disgrace.
Right. But a wise man gonna be like, man, this nigga is off, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Baby, I think the picture look perfect right there. What you think? Yeah, I think it look. Oh, hey, goddamn, it's staying right there.
Baby, hey, baby, put a picture over that hole that his eyes peeping through.
Right, right.
Put a picture over that.
Right.
Right. Verse 25, the lips of talkers will be telling such things as pertaining not unto them.
Mm-hmm. The lips of talkers are going to tell everything that don't pertain unto them.
But the
They got
word
something to say about everybody, every house. They got an opinion on it. They know what's going on over here. They know what's going on over there. They know what this person dealing with. They know what this person dealing with. That's somebody that's not minding their own house. Right? Go ahead, King.
But the words of such as have understanding are weighed in the balance.
Or what?
Weighed in the balance.
Now, somebody that has understanding, XYZ may seek them for understanding or counsel. They might come to them like, yo, you ain't bro, I ain't never really. I wonder, and how he moving is. I wonder if he can give me a awful word of advice. The sister seem to always have some diligence about her. I wonder if she can understand where I'm coming from in these circumstances or in this situation, right? As opposed to somebody that's bringing you heard about what happened, what such and such over them going through. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, bro, you know what they're going through, but did you tell them how to fix it? Did you give them any news they could use? Or is you just spreading the news? Right?
You know, I was
always got the latest and greatest, right? Go ahead.
I was just thinking about this, you know, even in like basketball, you know, back when we was hooping, you know, when somebody's sneaking up on you, you know, you going for a layup, you know what they say? Wolf. They be like, wolf, wolf, wolf. That was like a term that we use in basketball. You know what I'm saying? Hey, to be about your wits. Hey, be careful. Somebody sneaking up on you. Look behind you, right? That's the same thing. So when you hear things like that, man, hey, cry wolf, man.
Right.
That's a wolf pulling up on the scene, man, trying to get a hold of you.
That's right.
Go ahead. The hearts of
okay, go ahead.
Come on. The heart of a fool is in their mouth, but the mouth of the wise is in their heart.
Wow.
When the ungodly curseth Satan, he curseth his own soul. A whisperer defileth his own soul, and is hated wheresoever he dwelleth.
It said, when the ungodly curseth Satan, he cursed his own soul. All right, you talking about the enemy, and you the hidden enemy. You the one that niggas need to be hiding from. Right?
The scriptures talk about you know, Satan can't cast out Satan. You know, he's talking about himself. Right. This is the next precept through the Spirit, Matthew 12 and 33. Right, Matthew 12 and 33. So like it. Got a couple more precepts too, Yashala. Matthew 12 and verse 33. It says, either make the tree good and his fruit good, or else make the tree corrupt and his fruit corrupt. For the tree is known by its fruit.
His what?
His fruit.
The tree is known by its fruits. We brought that out earlier, right? An evil tree is not going to bear righteous fruit, neither will a righteous tree bear evil fruits, right? Go ahead.
O generation of vipers, how can ye being evil speak good things?
See, Christ called them a generation of vipers, and those same spirits are here today. Right? Saying, and it says, how you being evil how can you speak good things being evil? Right? Go ahead.
For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speak.
You see that? Go ahead.
The good man out of the good treasures of his heart bringeth forth good things, and an evil man out of the evil treasures bringeth forth evil things. When I say unto you that every idle word that
you speak, every little word that you saying, right? Go ahead.
They shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy word thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned.
That's why Most High say, paraphrasing, like, don't speak in a multitude of words. but short and few. Mean what you say and say what you mean, right? Go ahead. All right, that's it on that.
Come.
Next precept is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29. You got to be mindful of the things that you say, because the Most High, the angels are taking record of that, man, and they're going to hold you accountable in that day.
Come.
This is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29. And it reads, let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth.
Right, we already, and it says earlier in that, read verse 22, Baba Kashar.
Okay. That you put off concerning the former conversation, the old man, which is corrupt according to deceitful lust.
Right, because the reason that wolf might be attracting or appeasing to you, because he still has characteristics of the things that you might still be dealing with,
right?
To get off of you, right?
Right.
So that's why it's telling you about these corrupt communications, as it said in 1 Corinthians 15 and 33. It says, "Evil communication corrupts good manners."
And now, like I was kind of referring to that earlier, it's spiritual based, right? Right. Your a lot of people may be still dealing with, even though they're trying to walk righteousness, you might still find yourself dealing with somebody that seems worldly, because your demons agree. The demons that you fighting agree with the demon that he's feeding.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or vice versa. Right. You know what I'm saying? So on some type of understanding, y'all got some type of accord built spiritually. Right. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. All right.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm back on this. I got you. Verse 29. It says, 29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers.
Right. So it should only be edification amongst our brothers and sisters. Anything that's causing contention, strife, division, that's not edifying. Read on.
And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Yahweh.
Because that's grieving the Holy Spirit if you're doing contrary to edifying. Read on.
Whereby ye are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice.
Right. Malice is ill will. Right. You got to put these things away. And the only one who has an ill will is a wolf. He really got some type of ulterior motive that he has stored up in his heart, and that's what malice is. It's something it's a heart issue, right? Finish that up in verse 32. I
dropped it. All right.
I got it. Verse 32, Ephesians 4 and 32. It says, "And be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God for Hamashiach Yahweh's sake forgiven you."
You see that? So that's the spirit of Hamashiach that was able to forgive and able to give you the power to forgive, right? Next precept is going to be Luke 10 and 19. The book of Luke, chapter 10 and verse 19 through 20. Luke 10, 19 through 20. And it reads, "Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you."
Right. So you got to understand, the Most High is giving you authority. Hey, don't tread lightly, man. If you see a serpent, man, stomp that thing out, man.
Right.
Like the brother Two Times did in the video, man. Right. Hey, but stomp that thing out, man. You got to speak on it, man. You got to act on it, and you got to stay in the spirit. You got to understand when people come to you with things that might be detrimental to your walk. You got to be able to cut that thing off. It says, if your right hand offend you, cut it off, man.
That's right, man.
Let's keep it going.
20. Notwithstanding in this, rejoice not that the spirits are subject unto you, but rather rejoice because your names are written in heaven.
Right. We are the gods in the earth, man. These spirits, they are subject unto us.
That's right.
Not us unto them. Right. So you should refute any spirit that's trying to get you to go off and not be brotherly or sisterly. to get you to go off to cast other stumbling blocks amongst your other brothers and sisters, division, strife, right? Or even for you to be detrimental to your own self.
That's right. Hey man, rebuke, refute, and cut that thing down, right? And cause it to be subject unto your spirit, not your spirit subject unto it. And if you can't, cast that thing out, hew it down and cast it in the fire. Look, I can't deal with you then, because I know the spirit that I'm following is up on my Shiite. And if I can't get you to be on this accord, then it's something that we don't need to be dealing, right? Because the spirit that you coming in, you're not gonna get me to move like that, right? This is the book of Matthew. The very next precept is Matthew chapter 13 and verse 24. Matthew 13 and 24. And it reads, another parable put the forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field.
Come on.
But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat.
But what was that S word? While men what?
Slept.
And you cannot be sleep in this thing, man.
That's right.
Brothers always talking about I'm woke. I'm woke this, I'm woke. You cannot afford to be sleep in this walk. Because when you fall asleep, right, just like Yahweh was talking with John, and then when he went up to the Garden of Gethsemane, he said, hey, could you not watch for me 1 hour? You fall asleep, you jeopardize something, man.
That's right.
Go ahead, Op.
Sowed tares among the wheat and went his way.
Right, so tares among the wheat. A wheat is, you know what a wheat is, like the whole grain wheat, like you see on the General Mills box. Right. But a tare looks something similar to it, but it's not a wheat. You can't tell which is which, as a wolf in a sheep's clothing. Right. Read on.
Salak, but when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also.
Right.
So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field?
Right.
From whence then hath it tares?
Right. You asking the Most High, dang, I thought you brought this brother or this sister amongst me to help me in this walk.
Right.
Did you not bring this? So what happened? Read on.
He said unto them,
what he said?
Enemy hath done this.
A what?
An enemy hath done this.
No, hey, see, I ain't do that, bro. I gave you some discernment, brother. You supposed to be able to figure that thing out. It wasn't my doing.
That's right.
The enemy did that. Read on.
The servant said unto him, Will thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest while you gather up the tares, you root up also the wheat with them.
Right. He's saying you asking the Most High now. So should I still deal with them? He said, no. Hey, you gotta have discernment. When the Most High comes, he gonna divide them things up. He gonna cast the tares into the fire, and he gonna gather the wheat, and he gonna put it into the barn. Right. You gotta understand that some people might. All Israel is not Israel.
That's right. That's right.
All Israel is not Israel. Go ahead, Doc.
Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather you together first the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them.
To what?
To burn them.
Read.
But gather the wheat into my barn.
See that? Right. You gotta be wanted to be gathered in the barn. Next precept is Luke 22 and 31. I got it. It's a book, Luke 22 and 31. And the Most High said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan had desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat.
As what?
As wheat.
But
I have prayed for thee, that thy faith fail not.
You gotta have faith. You gotta have that faith. And ultimately, that's what's gonna keep you amongst the tares. Right? That, hey man, I'm not wavering away from this truth. My foot will not slip it. Right? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to continue to have the faith and walk because this is right. Not what man says, but what thus said Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Go ahead.
Verse 32. But I have prayed for thee that thy faith fail not. And when thou art converted.
When what?
Converted.
When you were converted, when you were convinced in your own mind, body, and soul that this is the way, what do you do next?
Strengthen thy brethren.
Then go strengthen your brethren, right? When you are strong enough, just like we was talking about earlier, it's easy to pull somebody down and lift somebody up. It's harder to pull somebody up to your level of understanding. So what do? You work on yourself. You build up your strength until your soul is converted. And then you go back and try and reach those brothers. Then you go back and try and reach those sisters. Then you go and feed the sheep, feed the flock, right? Be a servant unto your people. But you can't do that if you're feeble, if you have weak hands and feeble knees. You have to strengthen yourself through the spiritual exorcism of the scriptures, right?
That was it on that. Next precept is going to be in the book of Sirach, chapter 27 and verse 3.
Right.
Sirach 27 and 3, and it reads thus: unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Most High, his house shall soon be overthrown.
And you got to understand that. You got to understand what the fear of the Lord is. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. What is that wisdom? The law, statutes, and commandments.
According to
so if you around or somebody's household and they not keeping the law, statutes, and the commandments, you don't feel the wisdom, you don't feel the spirit. Be mindful, because possibly that house may be soon overthrown. Go ahead.
And if you be long in amongst, hey,
you're gonna be thrust through.
Verse 24. This is Sirach 27 and 4. As when one sifted with a sieve, the refuse remaineth. So the filth of the man is in so the filth of man in his talk.
In his what?
In his talk.
So when one is sifted with the sieve, the refuse remaineth. What they didn't want, it remaineth. It's the same way as in filthy man and his talk.
Right. And just to give you an understanding of what a sifting is, it's an instrument that's used, right? But they use it in the days of old when you're looking for gold, right? And they would go into the water and they would kind of dig up in the mud and they would pull it up out of the water, and the water would run down and everything else out of it. But what would remain, those are good things, and they would look amongst that to see if there was gold. The same thing with grain. They would sift it, cut it down, shake it, all of the grass and everything would fall out. But the wheat, the head of the wheat, that's the things that they wanted. That's the harvest, right? So that's what the Lord is saying, man. You're going to have brothers that look like tares, but they really wheat. And the only way you're going to find out who is when that blade comes through there. When all hell breaks loose, when trials and tribulations come forth, they're going to really show their true colors, right? Sirach 32 and 8 through 10.
I'm there. The book of Sirach, chapter 32 and verse 8. Book of Sirach, chapter 32 and verse 8, reading through 10. And it says, let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Be as one that knoweth, yet holdeth his tongue.
You see that? Read.
If thou be among great men, make not thyself equal with them.
Right, because that's what's happening, man. A lot of times brothers just want to be seen in this thing. That's not what this is about, man. You want to be heard. Hey, be seen, not heard.
Right.
Be on the scene, but be not heard. Go ahead.
Good. Right. And when ancient men are in place, use not many words. Before the thunder goeth lightning, and before shamefaced men shall go favor. Right? So when you meek in this thing, when you have a shame face, when you're not always trying to be the one, when you're not always trying to equate yourself to men that are of much higher understanding than you, right? You will find favor with the Father, because that shows that you know how to play your role and position. You know how to conduct yourself in order, right? You know what I'm saying? And the same goes for us with the sisters, right? When you know your position, not the position that XYZ gave you, but your position through the scriptures. When you know how to be a shamefaced daughter of Zion, and you know how to conduct yourself as such, then the Most High can use you for his agenda and not your own, right? I got a precept real quick. This is Colossians 4, I'm gonna start at 5. It says, walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time. Right? You got it.
Yeah, redeeming the time is understanding, man. A lot of these things, when we look back on time lost, we can't get back, man.
Mm-hmm.
So now we know that we're in this truth, man. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, man, is critical and it's beneficial to your walk, man, to strengthen you. So you got to redeem every moment of it, man. It's no time to be slack in this truth, man.
That's
It's
right.
no time to be slack and like, oh, well, they didn't mean. No, they said what they said, man.
Mm-hmm.
They showed themselves to be wolves. That's who they are.
That's right.
That's it. That's all. We don't have no room for that. You got to redeem the time, man. The time is ticking, and the Lord is sifting us out, man. He's sifting brothers out left and right.
That's right.
Go ahead, Art.
It says, let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how you ought to answer every man.
Right. Give me real quick through the Spirit. Hebrews 10 and 25.
It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 10 and verse 25.
Start at 24, Baba Kashar.
Verse 24. I'm going to start at 23. Let us hold fast to the profession of our faith without wavering.
Come on.
Right? This is our profession, right? Being sons and daughters of the Most High gods, right? Priests and prophets and kings of the Most High, daughters of Zion, right? For he is faithful that promised. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works.
Right, that's what this is about. Love and good works. Read on.
Not forsaking the assembly of ourselves together.
Right, like the brother just read in Colossians 4, redeeming the time.
That's right.
Not forsaking. When we gather ourselves together, we got to redeem the time. Think about all the times that we used to gather ourselves together and it was on a whole bunch of folly, wickedness, frowardness. Now
not gathered together at all.
Now that we gathering ourselves together, it's going to be in love and in good works. Read on.
Not forsaking the assembly together as the manner of some is.
Right. Go ahead. Because you forsaking the assembly when you kind of bringing in brothers and you kind of just, we're supposed to be having a good time, but you like the hell with that. If you're a wolf, the hell with that. Yeah. You done forsake the whole assembly.
Right. So in discord. It says, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching.
One time we was bringing this precept out, just an inside joke for the rest of the the family, right? One of the brothers had read extort, but it reads exhort, right? But we thought it was funny because exhort talks about lifting up, but
extort is
tearing down, and that's what wolves do. Right, so when we got to redeem these times, not forsaking the assembly, but extort and so like I done mix it up to extort and not extort, man.
Right.
But go ahead, that's it on that. That's all I wanted on that Hebrews 10.
It's the last precept of the night. Baba Kashaf for all the saints that the water for all the saints rather that stayed and endured with us, right?
Right.
You know, and you know, I pray that it was edifying. I pray that you were able to receive it, right? This is the last precept of the night. Through much love, we pray that y'all are able to get a good understanding of this word, and then, you know, pass that understanding on, if it be the Most High's will, right?
That's right. Malachi chapter 2 and verse 7.
Start at 6.
Malachi 2 and verse 6. The law of truth was in his mouth.
You see that? If anything is going to be in your mouth, it shouldn't be backbiting, shouldn't be malice, it shouldn't be falsehood, it shouldn't be tale-bearing. It should be the law of truth, right? Go ahead.
Was in his mouth, and iniquity was not found in his lips.
And no sin, no filthiness, no frowardness was found within his lips, right? Go ahead.
He walked with me in peace and equity.
Right.
And did turn many away from iniquity.
And did what?
and did turn many away from iniquity.
And you should be able to use this understanding that you're getting to turn people away from wickedness, right? To save them from themselves, even, right? Go ahead.
Verse 7. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge.
The what?
The priest's lips should keep knowledge.
Because your lips are supposed to keep knowledge. We're a nation of kings and priests, and our lips are to keep knowledge, right? Go ahead.
And they should seek the law at his mouth.
And they should be able to seek this law and its understanding from your mouth. You should constantly have the laws of the Most High Yahweh Shai in your mouth, continuously, perpetually. This is your heritage, your custom, your culture. The ways of the talebearer, the backbiter, the double tongue, that comes from the heathen. That's their culture. That's who they are. That's not who we are, right? Go ahead.
It reads, and iniquity, and did turn many away from them. So for the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth. For he is the messenger of the Most High host.
And we know through the precept that this will be talking about the tribe of Levi, but ultimately all of us are messengers of the Most High, right? And it's our job to be a messenger and to give the gospel and give the understanding when we have understanding. If not, lay your hand upon your mouth, man. Thus said the Holy Bible, thus said the scripture, man. Again, we the water for all the Kadashium that was tapped in tonight. It was a beautiful lesson. I pray that everybody was edified. I pray that the Spirit rests on you and you're able to meditate on it and get a further understanding, right? We want to give all honor and glory and praises to the Most High Yahweh Shai, right? Double honors to the elders of the house of David. Mighty shalom to all the Kadashium scattered throughout the four corners. You got something, Nasi?
No, Con, man. Just the water for everybody tapping in, man. I know it kind of ran long, but we had to get this thing off, man. This is something that is it's a sensitive subject amongst Israel, and understanding that we got to continue to pray for discernment, man. We got to continue to pray for eyes to see and ears to hear in this truth, because there are brothers and sisters who creep in unawares, and they cause contention and division, and we are only as strong as our weakest link, man.
That's right.
So I'm gonna yield with that, man. I want to say Kol Halal Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. With that, I'm gonna bid y'all shalom, brother Nasi.
Khan, his brother Shamariah.
Khan. And with that, we're gonna bid y'all a mighty shalom.
Khan, shalom, Maki.